Welcome back to LJM's workshop. Today we're going to see if we can slap chop some terrain up. As always, pause the video, have a look what paints we're going to need. First up, I'm going to be using Basecoat Carnum Grey over a slap chop base on this terrain to go over seeing how I've done this. Check back on the previous videos how to slap chop. It's a grey primer with a titanium white from Pro Acryl, dry brush over the top. I ditched the black. I personally don't think we need it. I'm just going to take the biggest brush that I've got, work my way around, try to aim to not have this pool in any of the recesses. You might see it might look a little bit rough to start with, but we're just going to work our way around. We're not going to massively worry about getting it on any other parts, mainly because the only things in this that it's going to be an issue if it goes onto is any of the rope or any of the wood. Any of that, the rest of it though, no issues whatsoever. If you have it on any of the metal parts, no problem. We're going to go over it with an acrylic. It's going to cover that, absolutely no problem. We're going to use the side of the brush just to get into these little nooks and crannies. Get it all nice and covered. Once it's mostly dry, you can see, you can get a pretty nice little effect. Some depth in the recesses, not massively jarring. We're going to work on it as we go around. Next up, Skeleton Horde. The reason we're going to do these wrappings first is because they don't need to be overly tidy. When we go in and cut in, if anybody's painted a banister or skirting board, anything of the sort of that, we're going to go around blocking all of the wrappings. Nice big brush, don't have to worry about any sort of overspill, because when we go over with the next dark brown, it's just going to cover up that beige bone colour that we're going to use on each of these bits of wrapping. As you can see, nice, simple, no nonsense. Next up, you know it, you love it, Wildwood. To do the wood. What else? So, since we've went over this with the Skeleton Horde, we're just going to go around, be careful once we get close to any parts of the wrapping, but other than that, we're just going to block it on, nice and simple, using a decent sized brush to cut out speed. Use the biggest brush that you're most comfortable with. The bigger brush you use, quick that's going to be. But obviously you've got to have that balance of what you can control. Obviously once you're using contrasts and other sorts of shade paints, you're going to start to get used to consistency, how they run, how to control them. It's just practice like anything. Don't worry about it. Everyone will make mistakes. And it's only terrain. Once it's dried, nice, simple wood. Now, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I wasn't winging it. Had a lot of faith in this Pro Acryl. As you know, I love loads of their colours. Just going to try this gold out instead of using Retributed Armour from Games Workshop or Citadel. And this is by far one of the best bright golds that I've used. Really good coverage, especially on even on a bigger piece of model. Like if you're going around on, you might need to go over some of it with a slightly thinner coat. Obviously I'm using this off the wet palette. It does start to separate quite quickly, which is a bit of a pain when it's on your wet palette, but that might just be me not shaking it enough or something of the sort. But I'm just going to work my way around, use the side of the brush just to not overspill on any of the stonework. This is the most important bit, not to overspill on that, because it's a lot harder to tidy up than using the contrasts and going over the top of that. When I'm going to go on this door detail, again, use the biggest brush that you're comfortable with, because it's going to be a real pain to tidy up any mistake. Don't get yourself massively down though if you do make a mistake, because it is terrain. And to be honest, the pieces are that big. A small mistake that you're looking at when you're a few inches away of the piece of terrain you're never going to notice when it's on the table. So really, don't stress about it. And my amazing camera work here, taking it out of shot, but as you can see, I'm just using the side of the brush just to pick it out. This is just, again, something that'll come with time, but just practice using the side of the brush just to pick up the raised details. Nice and light, let the brush do the work. Don't try to overly force it, just have fun with it, play around. And like with everything, less is always going to be more. I have went down to a smaller brush, but that's only because the detail is a lot smaller on these little windows. Same principle though. When I use the brush to do most of the work, move the model around, keep my elbows braced on the table, almost like you're doing a preacher curl, you're praying, whatever floats your boat. And I'm going to use this to keep my hands nice and steady. Now I'm going to just be staring at my own hands, seeing if they wobble any bit. But have fun with it. Enjoy it. Again, you're doing this for fun, so have fun doing it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, like trying to put these videos out. Again, winging it, using a bit of Duncan's paint range, 2 thin coats of Cerakote Silver. Again, can always use old favourite of Vallejo steel. I'm going to go around, pick out all the little metal bits. On this, it's very small parts, just the winches, little hooks, the hammer down the bottom on the inside that you probably will not see. But it's there. You could probably get away with not even doing it, but I thought I'd give it a try, see what it's like. Just when I got a little bit of spare time as well, just want to say thanks for the massive amount of subs and views that the previous video got. I don't expect this one to do too good because it's terrain, it's not too glamorous, everyone loves squigs. But yeah, I only started doing this just to help me mates out, not for anything, so just to see that video blow up, it's a bit mental really. So yeah, obviously anyone that's new, leave a comment, like the video, all that kind of stuff. It's all great for the algorithm, clearly, because the last one went absolutely mental. But yeah, terrain, some people love it. I've got mates that absolutely love terrain. You know who we are, the absolute weirdos. Some people that probably don't have any, because they maybe not have the space. It's a big commitment to have terrain. But I've been painting this up for the club nights. Going back to good old deep shades, pure grime from Vallejo. Not used this on anything this big before, so I thought, why not just risk it, just stick it on. Gonna work it around. If it gets on any of the brickwork, I don't believe I showed it in the video, but just use your finger, just rub it off. It works really well. I'm not really worrying too much about how much I put on. I'm letting it pool in the little triangles on the arches, just to give them that depth. But I was actually really happy on how this turned out. I have put on the wet palette instead of doing it straight from the pot. It does say to use the medium with it, but I thought, let's give it a try. And it goes on really nicely. It does smell a bit weird. I'm not quite sure if I enjoy it, but hopefully it's not bad for you. Then this is the finished result on the shade. I could probably put a tiny bit more in some of them recesses, but it does go into all the lettering quite well. And it gives you some nice, easy, simple depth. It's terrain, it's meant to look a bit grimy, it's a battlefield. So, yeah, it's okay if it looks a little bit muddy. And this is it put together. It took a little bit longer than I was expecting because I think I went a bit OTT on the gold. But look, different pieces of terrain, you might not have this. I've got this because it came in the Stormbringer magazine. It was nice and cheap. I chose not to glue it, so ease of transport. So you just pull it all apart, sticks it together, enough friction, keep it all. Just pop it in your bag. I need to get one of these fancy little spinners, but if not, he has me little thing where the football goes on the table. I will upgrade this at some point. But I think for the time it takes, very, very passable. In terms of nice simple piece of terrain. As I always say, ask your mates if the DNR good. Don't take anything too seriously, because how are you? There's no point. Like and share the video. Helped absolutely massively on the last one. Again, I've got to say thanks to everybody, and if you made it all this way through, shout out to them Spanish people that have been watching the videos with captions on. I've seen that in the analytics and they give us a good laugh. If you're not Spanish and you still have to put subtitles on, I apologise. Have a good one, lads.